Hey everyone, today, I'll be reviewing the RF Pyotr Velikiy, which is a premium cruiser that you can buy in the shop for 11,000 gold. This ship received the second highest votes in the community poll, with the top spot going to the USS Arkansaw, which I've already reviewed. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll drop the link in the description of this video so you guys can check it out. As usual, we'll cover the ship's stats, firepower, survivability, usage tips, and at the end, I'll give my final opinion on whether it's worth getting or not. Here are the fully upgraded stats of the ship. Its durability is much higher than that of Arkansaw, but lower than that of CGX. Its speed is slightly slower than Varyag, while its maneuverability is below that of Admiral Nakhimov. The ship has a shorter radar range than that of Arkansaw and Varyag, while its sonar range matches that of the Vela Gulf, which is much greater than that of the cruisers mentioned earlier. The firepower of this ship is impressive, as you'd expect from a cruiser. It has all the offensive weapons in the game, except for autocannons, and a large part of its firepower comes from its anti-submarine weapons, specifically torpedo and grenade launchers. This is somewhat unusual, as the firepower of cruisers is usually dominated by cannons or missiles, and on top of that, there are not many cruisers that feature both torpedo and grenade launchers in large numbers, especially with the option for customization. With the best grenade and torpedo launchers, the ship can inflict serious damage, especially on slower submarines, which makes its anti-submarine capability exceptional, and among the best in its class. However, there is a downside to this, which is that torpedoes are more likely to miss surface ships than submarines. This is because most players in the game hide behind obstacles, and the torpedoes aren't fast enough to reach their target before they take cover. As a result, you often can't make full use of the ship's firepower, and the part you can use is about the same or slightly better than that of some destroyers in the game. This issue becomes even worse when you consider its survivability, which I'll discuss further in the survivability section. Regarding its missiles, the firepower is certainly less than what its anti-submarine weapons provide, but it still makes up a significant part of the ship's overall firepower, because 3 missile launchers are a decent quantity for such a weapon, as it can inflict considerable damage. Furthermore, it is customizable, making its damage potential limitless, and it features a 3x1 missile slot configuration, making missiles launched from this setup less likely to be intercepted compared to a 2x1 and 1x1 missile slot configuration. The ship also has a single customizable cannon, which doesn't contribute much compared to its other weapons, though it does help inflict more damage. As for its survivability, it is not very impressive due to its low speed and maneuverability. Its speed is the second lowest for a cruiser, with Admiral Nakhimov having the lowest, while its maneuverability is the lowest for a cruiser. Due to this drawback, it's quite difficult for the ship to initiate an attack or escape from difficult situations without sustaining heavy damage. Remember what I said earlier about the downside of having anti-submarine weapons dominate your firepower? If you try too hard to use those torpedoes, you'll likely take heavy damage or even get eliminated. This is because launching torpedoes requires exposing the ship, and since it's big and slow, it's very easy for your opponents to deal significant damage to you. The only way to unleash the ship's full firepower is by engaging the opponent directly in close combat, which can be incredibly risky depending on the enemy. The ship's poor agility, combined with the issue of torpedoes, makes its firepower feel underwhelming, and it is what makes the ship difficult to use. Thankfully, its survivability isn't completely bad as it still has a very high durability and a very strong air defense, with 6 customizable air defenses. They're effective enough to mitigate the ship's drawbacks, but still not enough to prevent its survivability from being among the worst in its class. Since this ship is a cruiser, the best way of using it is to use it like a support ship, which is how cruisers are meant to be used. Avoid venturing out alone. Instead, assist your teammates in advancing toward the enemy and help them eliminate their targets. This approach also helps mitigate the ship's drawbacks, improving your chances of survival while making a meaningful contribution to your team. While you may sometimes deal less damage, remember that playing smart and cautious will keep you in the fight longer and increase your chances of winning. Since you're a support ship, you must not start a team fight, especially if there's a battleship on the enemy team. I've seen many players use this ship and do this, acting as if they're playing a destroyer rather than a cruiser, and after the fight begins, they often end up either dead or severely damaged. I'm aware that some cruisers are capable enough to take on a more aggressive role, but given this ship's capability, it is certainly not one of them. What you should do is let your more agile, durable, and powerful teammates take the lead. Once the enemy focuses their attacks on them, step in to support and deal damage, or coordinate with your teammates and charge as a group. This way, you're fulfilling your ship's role while minimizing the risk of getting eliminated easily. Also, you must know when to take damage and when to avoid it. This ship has one of the highest durability, so it would be a waste not to use it, but you want to use its durability in a way that doesn't leave you in trouble later in the battle. Finding the right moment to take advantage of it can greatly boost your effectiveness and survivability during fights. My last piece of advice is that you should get advanced consumables if you can afford them. The electronic warfare consumable will significantly improve your survivability and help you recover if you make a bad move during battle. Also, it will help you counter players using Ted Stevens equipped with nuclear missiles, which are prevalent in the game right now. Here's my build for Pyotr Velikiy if you guys are interested with it. I use the X-51 for the missile because it allows me to attack opponents as soon as part of them is revealed after hiding behind obstacles. You don't have to wait for the missile to lock onto the target, and you don't have to worry about it being flared. Also, this is the only missile I find it effective on this ship. For the cannon, I use the Monarch, simply because it's the most powerful cannon available in my inventory. However, you can use any cannon you prefer, as long as it's powerful enough to help you deal more damage. I use the TRG for the grenade launcher because of its power. It's highly effective against both surface and underwater ships. However, if you use this grenade launcher, you'll need to be cautious of torpedoes, as it cannot intercept them. For air defenses, I use the RIM 162D, on the 4x1 slot for its power, and the Garpin on the 2x1 slot for its range. If I could afford another RIM 162D, I would replace Garpin to focus entirely on power, but this setup still works well. I used Spearfish for the torpedoes because it's cheap and powerful. Since the ship can fire 3 torpedoes at once, you can get a lot of damage from this torpedo. Lastly, for the helicopter, I chose Phenom because of its 2 aviation reserves, which give you a second chance to use the helicopter if the first one is shot down. This is a feature not commonly found on many helicopters, and it could give you a huge advantage in battle. Here are the advantages and disadvantages of the ship. For this one, I'll leave it up to you guys to consider. I can't say that it's a good ship because of its poor agility and reliance on torpedoes for firepower, but I also can't say that it's a bad ship, given its durability, strong air defense, and decent damage output even without torpedoes. Ultimately, it comes down to whether the ship suits your playstyle and preferences. Personally, I don't enjoy using this ship, but I'd be glad to have it on my team. If you're looking for a cruiser where you can be a bit aggressive in battle, this ship is certainly not for you, but if you want a cruiser that excels in team battles and supporting allies, then this is a very solid choice. Now, I'll leave you guys a video of the gameplay of the ship for you guys to see how it performs in battle, and that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys like it, and if you all did, please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.